Hey it's your girl Mia Bia here with another release and cleanse. We have made it to February. Yes, January went by really fast, and usually, y'all know January kind of drags on, but not this year, and I'm here for it. I can already feel spring on the horizon, so 2026 is already starting off chef's kiss. Okay. So this release and cleanse, we're talking about um learning to unmask and feeling safe inside of our own authenticity. Last month we were talking about emotions and how our emotional awareness um is actually a way to empower us as individuals. Um, so this section is more so where we're releasing the internal patterns that keep us stuck and keep us disconnected from who we truly are. Um, Sometimes you have to go through a phase where you are emotionally aware first and foremost, so you can process emotions, move through emotions, and then you begin to feel more so like your authentic self. That emotional awareness, it allows our nervous systems to kind of stop and calm down and regulate themselves so that we can get back to who we were truly meant to be in the first place. So this session is really meant to just create space so that we're able to um, pull ourselves out of performance and survival and control and move into more so being present, being able to trust ourselves, trust our intuition, and gaining clarity. Um, so yeah, you guys already know I come through with my 4 points. You're gonna hit those 4 points, and at the end, you'll get a little bit of affirmation so we can move through. If you haven't already, go ahead and click the link in my bio and check my pay hip link so that you can get your release and cleanse journal in the digital copy, and print copies will be coming soon. Just have to throw that in there. All right. So, the first thing that we're going to do this month is we're going to release ourselves from needing other folks' approval. Okay? Um when our personal value, our self-worth is intrinsically connected to validation of other people, we end up kind of shaping ourselves around who those people or the expectations of other people, who those people want to see, the expectations of other people, and doesn't always mean that those things are in alignment with our natural truth. Okay. um so it's easy to do, especially, when you want the thing, you want the job, you want the accolades, you want the recognition, you want the, spouse. Sometimes, a lot of the times, we end up having to shrink ourselves down or hide pieces of ourselves, mask ourselves up so that we are pleasing to other people, and it becomes a performance at that point. Okay. So, your first question for your reflection this month is: where in my life do I seek approval or validation from others? And you might have to sit with yourself, because we don't always realize that we're doing what we're doing because of other people. Sometimes we think, oh, that's what I want. But it's like, no, that's what you were conditioned to want. That was what you were conditioned to believe. So it takes, the time, like we did last month, to sit and process certain things, so that we can really see, like, okay, wait a minute. I was moving from survival mode here and I was performing here because my childhood asked me to be X, Y, and Z and molded me to be X, Y, and Z. So I have to release that so that I'm able to actually accept what it is and who it is that I really am and the things that I really want to go after in this life. Okay. Second question: how does this influence how I show up or hold myself back? Okay. Where am I shrinking? Am I showing up as a different version of myself because I'm afraid of how other people are going to see the real me? Okay. And then we're going to do our affirmations at the end. Okay. Now, our second point, we're going to release false confidence and overcompensation, which all go hand in hand with that performative behavior that we do because we're seeking the validation of other people. You don't have to over explain yourself. You don't have to overgive. You don't have to overdo it. Um, when we're doing those things, that's a sign that we don't feel safe being ourselves. We don't feel safe being still. A lot of times in relationships, I can say, even jobs, for me personally, I'll go into a job. It may be something that I really love. It may be a job that I really love. I'll go in there and I'm going hard. But I can say that in certain situations, you may be working with people who have higher credentials than you, but you have a greater wealth of knowledge in the area than they do, even though they have those credentials. So you feel like you have to outdo it or overwork yourself or to outdo them so that they can accept you for who you are because, you know, you don't have that confidence in your innate God-given talents and abilities, that you're comparing yourself um because comparison is the thief of joy for sure. You're comparing yourself to other people and you're learning that being my authentic self is not acceptable, or being my authentic self is not good enough, when in all actuality it is. So our next question is, where do I feel the need to prove myself or overextend? Looking back at relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, sometimes you feel like if you're in a space of dysregulation, you feel like, maybe if I just love them more, that then they'll do the right thing, or maybe if I just show up for them and support them, that they'll support me too, like that kind of thing. But that that person doesn't really have the capacity to give you back. So you end up, becoming this over giver because you, in fact, have not received in life. So because you've not been in a situation to where you've received or reciprocated what it is that you give, you feel like you have to perform again and overgive, overdo, over explain to get people to see you or understand you, but these people don't really even have the bandwidth to do so. So it's almost like you're just spinning your wheels to no avail anyway. Next question: what am I afraid will happen if I allowed myself to just be me? Because 9 times out of 10, the reason why we mask ourselves up again is that lack of confidence, and it's the fear of abandonment and rejection. Because if I show up as my authentic self and it's not good enough for this person, because that's how we see it as not good enough. We don't see it as we're just not in alignment. And there's people out there for me that I'm in alignment with. We see rejection oftentimes as a negative thing or a bad thing, and it's not. It just means that you are surrounding yourself with people, places, environments, and experiences that are not in alignment with who you are authentically. Okay, now this moves us into our next point. Point number 3: We're releasing outgrown identity roles. Okay. Most of us are still moving in these roles that we adapted to survive or to belong. So just think about when you were a child. Um, some children become class clowns because they don't get the attention at home. So they feel like they have to continuously, be seen, heard, no matter if the attention is negative or positive. It just means I want attention. I want to be seen. So sometimes those roles, because, maybe the child is not receiving the presence that they need at home from the parents, so they act out at school. You end up growing into being a person who consistently needs validation from other people. So you consistently adapt yourself and basically kind of rewrite who you are to fit wherever you are. It's it's almost like mutability, but it's in a negative way because you end up abandoning your authenticity in order for you to kind of become in or be in more of a flow state, like, oh, I'm adapting to my environment. No, you're actually trying to take on a role that's not your God-given role. Okay, so our question is this: what roles or versions of myself no longer feel aligned? The roles that we accept can be heavy when they don't reflect who we're becoming. And it's okay for us to, like, say I may have had a role at one point in time that really did fit me. But as I grew, as I became, this role no longer fits the person that I evolved into. So that's something that we have to take time and go through and say, you know what, I'm going to release this part of me because I need to accept this new part of me that I'm becoming, right? Okay. Next question: what feels heavy or limiting about continuing to carry them? What is limiting you, or how is carrying this role that doesn't fit you anymore, how does that limit you? How does it limit how you show up in the world? How does it limit your growth and your evolution in general? Okay. And finally, I had 5 points this month, y'all, instead of four, but I'm gonna combine these last two. Okay. So releasing the fear of being seen authentically, and releasing control and ego-led protection. Okay. So releasing the fear of being seen authentically, you hide parts of yourself that it feels safer for you to retreat than it does for you to show up as that person. So most people hide their depth because in this world, most people are like surface level. You know, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite? Hey, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? Right? So you end up hiding your depth. You end up hiding your complexities because, oh, this is going to be too much for these people. This is going to be too much for the people that I'm around on a daily basis right now. So the question that we're asking here is, where do I dim myself or hide my truth? And what part of me is asking to be expressed more fully? Usually, when you're creative and you get those moments of where you have like no excitement behind creating anymore. Usually you it's because you have a fear of being seen authentically. It's usually because you have a fear for whatever it is that you're supposed to be creating in your heart is so big, so expansive, so dope, so deep, and you fear that people will not see you for who you are. People will not see your work because of that. So sometimes you will hide yourself. And once you start to feel safer, usually that's when um, you get that burst where you're like, oh, I need to create this. I need to do this. And then you actually, put it out there. So that part is for my creators. And then releasing that control and ego led protection. So sometimes we can be operating from this space of defensiveness, because if I can be defensive and control how people see me, or control um, how I show up in the world so people can see me this way and not that way, you're blocking your chance for true connection and growth with other people. So releasing that control, it really allows you to lead with trust. It allows you to trust yourself more, and it allows you to trust more other people, and it helps you see things with clarity. The question for that is, where am I trying to control outcomes instead of trusting the process? That's where we get impatient. um, that's where we get to the space where we feel like, you know what, things aren't moving in the direction that I feel like they should be moving in. So maybe this part of me is not being welcome right now, and I need to shut this side off and turn this side on, because this side is more it's more pleasing. Again, going back to seeking validation from other people or pleasing other people. Okay. um Releasing these things, it's not about losing yourself. It's about shedding parts of you that no longer serve you in this moment. The whole point is for us to grow, and is for us to receive the things that fit us for where we are, so we can move forward, lighter and clearer. If we're carrying all these bags on our backs, all these bags and chains around our ankles, it makes it harder for us to move through our process of growth and healing. So that's a part of it, is letting go. If I let go of these bags that I'm carrying that don't help me anymore, then I can pick up the things that, Spirit God, the divine, wants to actually give me in this moment. Okay. So now we're going to go through and do our affirmations for this release and cleanse. Affirmation number 1: I release the need to perform and trust my inherent worth. When you say these affirmations, I want you to just place your hand right over your heart and say these affirmations out loud. I release the need to perform, and I trust my inherent worth. Okay. Our next one: I am enough without proving or performing. Okay. I give myself permission to evolve beyond the old versions of myself. I am safe to be seen and expressed as my true self. And I release control and choose to lead with my heart. I release what no longer serves, and I step forward with clarity, confidence, and authenticity. Thank you so much for joining me for the release and cleanse for the month of February. Again, I am Mia Bia, ancestral healer and intuitive mindset coach. I'm doing a lot of shifting and moving and changing, and I'm embracing my own authenticity in this season. I love how intentional the divine is when we're going through certain things. It's almost like the divine is like, hey, you're going to teach it. While you're going through it, so you can really be authentic in this thing. So moving in my most authentic self now, and I am shifting some things over, changing some things. So just make sure that you are subscribed, make sure you like, and make sure you share it with a friend who you know may benefit from this information. Thank you so much, and you guys have a wonderful February.